Okay.
Hi, everyone. Our group is called the Blackprint, and I'm Jabril Guy. We're going to talk a little bit about our users.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail Thomas and I'll begin. Okay, so our first user persona type is Julia. So Julia is a computer scientist and she's driven, focused, and tired of being blackmailed by her white boss. Julia is 25 years old and she's single, and some of her goals include wanting to find a job with the same pay or higher where she'll feel comfortable, or wanting to be recognized as a computer scientist. Her frustrations include her boss blackmails her and her coworkers use racial slurs. Julia's bio. Julia wants a safe space where she can feel unjudged and not ridiculed. She also wants advice on how to find a better job than the one she's in, and she wants to report her boss for blackmail without him revealing incriminating information about her. So Julia is one of the categories of users that we're looking to appeal to. Julia is an example of many Black professionals in STEM where they're underpaid because they're Black, um, especially because she's a Black woman and because she's so young and she's just starting out. And a lot of Black users, especially a lot of Black professionals, especially women, they get blackmailed by their bosses, and we are here to appeal to those. Our next user persona type is Marcus. So Marcus is an independent, motivation, motivated leader. So Marcus is 30 years old and he's a mechanical engineer. He's currently married and his character is an explorer. Some of his goals include wanting to create his own car company and wanting to connect with more mechanical engineers to help formulate a plan for manufacturing his own cars. His frustrations include he works in a predominantly white workplace and he does not, he does more than most of his white coworkers and receives the least compensation. Marcus is biased. So Marcus wants a space where he can connect with more Black mechanical engineers and he wants to team up with those engineers. He also wants to host an event for Black mechanical engineers to share some of his tips and tricks in the field. He wants to find a space where he will be recognized for his efforts and given his rightful compensation. So a lot of times, Black STEM professionals as well, in the workplace, they're underpaid and they do a lot more work and they contribute more, yet still they're undermined, they're unappreciated, or they're unpaid. And it's hard as well to connect with Black professionals in STEM because of how spread out we are sometimes and how concentrated the field is with more white persons. Um, so we aim to be that bridge to facilitate connection and communication with Black professionals in STEM. Okay, so as I said, Blackprint is designed for Black professionals who feel underrepresented and need their space to share their concerns without feeling that they're being watched or without feeling like they're gonna get in trouble for what they say. And Blackprint is also a networking ground where Black professionals can connect and with other Black professionals and network.
Now we'll move on to our prototype portion of this presentation. So we use Proto.io for our prototype, and we'll start off with Abigail going through the sign up and sign in pages.
Okay, so our web app begins with the sign up and sign in pages. And as you can see, you can type in your email and you can type in a password and you can become a member of our app. And this is useful because we can share information, and it will help black professionals to connect easier, to give out information easier, to share their emails easier, and to get onto the web app easier. And this is also a security measure. So not just anyone gets onto our app. Um, yeah, you can also sign in, and or you can sign in with Facebook.
Yep. And for the sign-in page and really the app, the web app as a whole, we want to make sure that the UI is friendly to Black people. And we try to do that by just subtle undertones like the skin color type colors we have going on here, some nice Pan-African colors at the top and the banner, and even this logo we have. So I'm going to sign in, and the first thing we are brought to is our main menu. Now, currently the app consists mainly of 3 different categories: the forum section, where professionals will be able to talk to each other; the advice flow chart, where you could figure out how to get help on an issue; and the mood checker. So we're going to go from top to bottom and start with the forums. And so for this forum, of course, we have some made up company names here. And these are just examples of how we think people would use this app to communicate. So does anyone have experience dealing with HR at Tech Bubble? So for example, sometimes HR at companies are like, can be helpful, but other times they are very clearly there just to help the company. So it's important for people to reach out and communicate before they undertake actions, because knowledge is power. You really need to know what's going on at your company before you try to utilize a resource. And this isn't only just for professional type talking, it's also for people really just network with each other and maybe even make friends, because at the end of the day, when people feel lonely, they feel worse, and that could really contribute to their workplace environment feeling even worse than it already is. Or maybe it's not so bad in the first place, and it's just that feeling of isolation that is making them feel bad. So now we're going to click back, go back to our menu, and then from here, we're going to go to the advice chart, which Abigail will present. Wait, actually, no, which I will present. So this flow chart is it's basically, it'll allow people to pick from main categories here on the flowchart main page, which we're on. And then from there, they can click on an issue they'll have. And this will kind of try to get out of the way a lot of the frequent issues that people have, because of course you can't come up with everything. So let's try this one. I've been racially abused in the workplace. So first off, it asks you a couple questions. Does your company have an employee resource group or a union? Because those are 2 very powerful organizations that could help you with such an issue. Or if your company doesn't have one, you could click down here. Let's say your company does have one. So the solution you could try is to report your situation to that group or the union and see if they're able to take it from there. If they're not, and that doesn't lead to a satisfactory conclusion, you then click this button down here. And then you could try to speak to HR about the issue. And if you tried talking to HR and had no success, you should click down here. And then here is just really like that nuclear option. If things are really going rough, you've exhausted all your options, you should maybe consider searching for a new job or switching to a new group if you're at a large company and things vary a lot from group to group. Or if you really feel like that transgression against you was that just ridiculous and unacceptable, you could consider lawyering up and maybe taking your workplace to court and trying to get some sort of compensation for what you endured. So I'm going to go back and also quickly run through this other flow chart. So I believe I'm being underpaid at my workplace is another popular one. Once again, if your company has an employee resource group or a union or doesn't, let's try doesn't this time. And once again, speak to HR about the issue. And pretty much same thing. So yeah. Now we'll take it back to Abigail for the mood checker.
Okay, so our mood checker feature is basically just to check in on our users and see how they're feeling on a particular day. So the user can either type in how they're feeling. Like, for example, they could say, I'm frustrated with my coworker. And they submit it. And as you can see, it gives you a message that says, judging from the language used, it is apparent you are very stressed out. Please be sure to take time to relax before attempting to solve any workplace problems. Consider consulting a therapist if this issue persists in the long term. So you can see it's some very meaningful advice that we're trying to give. And they could also take a picture of their particular mood. And from the picture taken, it's apparent that you're in a good mood. Keep up the good work.
And we wanted to make sure that the picture taken wasn't shown to the user, whether while taking it or after, because sometimes, especially if you show them their picture while taking it, they could tend to pose and maybe start smiling. And this could cover up their real, true, natural facial emotions at the time. So it's crucial that we don't actually show them what they look like in the moment, and we just capture that picture and analyze from there. But yeah, that is pretty much all we had to show today. We hope you all enjoyed the presentation, and thank you once again.
Thank you for listening.